I know what you're thinking. You gotta grind. You gotta really put your nose to the plow. You gotta work 24 hours a day. You have to do the work. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to work. Well, what I'll tell you is the more physical energy you exert, the less money you will make. The harder you grind, the more physical energy you put out, the less you will make. Now, I do work hard. Right now, my hard work is all mental, right? And it's really, this is harder work than physical labor because you have to figure people out. You gotta figure out strategies. You gotta figure out how to put people together. You gotta figure out how to make people happy. You gotta figure out what people want, things of that nature. It's a lot of hard work, but I'm talking about like physically. If you look at the chain of command, well, I'll give you when I was working at the Cheesecake Factory. At my job, there was I was a server, right? Where I would have to take tables, take their order, bring them food, all that kind of stuff. But who made more than me was my manager who worked less. Now, they'll put out certain fires at the table. If I have an issue, they'll come across, they'll make some people happy, but they did a lot of walking around, right? They didn't work nearly as hard as me, but they made more. You know who made more than him? The general manager. The general manager come in here, check on everybody, check on all the managers, make sure they're good, and he made significantly more than the managers. But you know who made more than him? The area coordinator. So the GM's over this particular restaurant, the area coordinator is over a bunch of restaurants. He worked even less than the general managers, who worked less than the managers, who worked less than the servers. But he made so much more money. And you know who made more than the area coordinators? The regional managers. The regional managers, they worked less than the area managers, but they made more. Who made more than anybody is the CEO of the company. But back to me, the server. And I thought I made pretty good money. But what I found is that there are people called bussers at a restaurant. Now, the bussers, they work hard. They work hard. For some reason, I'm not going to say that, but it was a certain ethnicity that was always the bussers. And they worked really, really hard, but they didn't make nearly as much as we did the servers. So that had me comfortable thinking, yo, I'm making good money. I'm making more than the busser, but I'm not making as much as the managers. We're not making much. You see what I'm saying? And that works in pretty much any model. Whoever works the most physically makes the least monetarily. Now, don't get this twisted. Do not get this message twisted. Hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. But sometimes you got to put in some really hard work so you can understand a system and pass it off to somebody else. So my assistant might work really, really hard doing stuff, right? But the more she figures it out, the more she can find a system so she can scale her time or he can scale his time. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right, Joe?